topic, we also investigate topics such as global supply chain design, logistics, outsourcing, and several recent supply chain innovation. For example, we heard about like a multimodal, for example. If we would like to transport items from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City, how about the transportation mode? We might use the road transportation, we might use rail transportation mode, or we might use the ocean or waterway transportation mode. So that is the transportation. For example, some other innovation, for example, innovation in the supply chain. Nowadays, we have many innovation. For example, if we would like to improve the whole supply chain performance, how about the innovation? We use some technology, for example, robot, AGV to deliver the item. If we would like to pick up on one item, how we pick up? We might use AGV, for example. So that is innovation in the supply chain. Or multimodal, we call the omni-channel distribution. For the traditional distribution, we sell through the physical network. For example, we have a retail network. Nowadays, we might use the e-commerce system, e-commerce platform, right? So these are some innovation in the supply chain. So in this course, we have some discussion about the theories, but also we have some quantitative techniques. For example, when we talk about the supply chain contract between two parties in the supply chain. So how we set up the contract, then we have some qualitative and quantitative topic, right, in this course. So this is a general introduction. About the topic, of course, language we use in English. The course contents actually handout I sent to you. We have a 6 chapter. Today we are discussing about introduction to supply chain management, and we might have in the afternoon we discuss about the supply chain driver and metrics. If we want to measure, if we want to improve the performance of the supply chain, we need to understand how to measure that one. For example, I said that, okay, our supply chain this year have some big improvement. So how about our KPI? We use some metrics to measure, right? So this is the second chapter. The third chapter, how we use the distribution network and application of the online sale. So that is a new trend, actually currently trend. How we build up, for example, we have a many case study how to build up the distribution network. Before, yes, right. One of the few years ago, we often heard Nguyễn Tử Quảng, CEO of that company, he had an announcement that this local brand, smartphone, Vietnamese phone. So how he built the distribution network? He omit everything. He used the online sale. For the original distribution network, no retailer. He have a factory and customer go to the website, place an order. Whenever they receive an order, and then they distribute the item directly to the customer. So with that system, how about that system compared to the traditional network? For example, if we would like to purchase iPhone, we have to go to the iPhone assemble in China. Foxconn is one of the biggest outsourcing partner of iPhone in China, and that product distribute back to many countries. For example, in Vietnam, FPT is one of the wholesaler, and they import to Vietnam, and then they distribute to the smaller retailer. Okay, so that is a physical distribution network. So compared to the before, they use the online platform. So actually, when we go to that chapter, we might discuss how about the different policy, different strategies of the distribution network, why they select that one, and how about the drawback of that strategies. Okay. And after that, we move to the designing global supply chain network as well. One of the topic, as I mentioned earlier, in the supply chains, we have all the way we have the business between two parties, buyer and seller. For example, factory and a retailer. So factory is a seller and retailer is buyer. However, from the retailer to like a store. So at that moment, retailer becomes supplier and store become buyer. So in the supply chain, there exists the relationship we call between two parties. We call seller and buyer. So how to build up the contracts? How to set up the contracts? For example, do you like to go to the cinema? Yeah, okay. So you heard about the some like a business conflict between some like a filmmaker and film distributor. For example, CGV is one of the film distributor, and filmmaker is a film production, right? Producer. So they have to make the contract. They share the revenue, for example, 50-50. So after they sell, for example, Trần Thành, my film, he can sell to the CGV and some other distribution network. For example, up to now, 500 billion Vietnam đồng. So how they say that one? 50% or 60% for the production, for the filmmaker, and 40% or 50% of the revenue share to the cinema, right? So there is a way how we set up that percentage. We call the supply chain contracts, and we have some technique to discuss to see how about the profits of a party in the supply chain. And the last one, actually, in the handout, I shift those two chapters. Now, this one, chapter number 5, and supply chain contract is chapter number 6. It depends on the current stage, current status of our class. I might move the positions of those chapters. So these are the cost content. So actually we have a 6 chapter. Why we have to study or we discuss those 6 chapters? Actually, we in the supply chain, the most important to let you understand overall about the supply chain management and how to measure the supply chain management. So topic number 1 and number 2 help you to understand general information, general knowledge about supply chains and how to measure the supply chain. Topic chapter 3 and 4, how to build up the network, distribution network, all the things about how we design. For example, we go back to the case in X periods of the product life cycle, we set up different network. We go back to the case, compare between traditional or physical distribution network, like an iPhone or some the other computer, they have a physical distribution network. And before they select the e-commerce or online platform. So we might compare among those one to see how about the back and forth drawback and like the good advantage of those distribution network. The chapter number 5, supply chain contracts, and number 6, we go to the aggregate planning. It means that we need to make the decision. In some case, we produce everything or we outsource. For example, now many companies they select the outsourcing. For example, outsourcing like the case we heard recently. We heard a lot about VinFast, right? VinFast. For the design, they outsource design. They make. For Unilever, you know that in some periods they outsource their production to Vietnamese company. Adidas, Nike, and Uniqlo, now they outsource all their production to some developing country like Vietnam, Bangladesh, China, Thailand, and some of the other countries. Yeah. So we studied this one, the chapter number 6 about aggregate planning to make decision when we can outsource and how about the cost for outsourcing option. Yeah. So that is the reason why we study those 6 chapters, and that's also the fundamental theories about the supply chain. Actually, we have some many other. If you read the books about the supply chains, we might have some other concern. However, in our Taobao, so I select those chapters. About the assessment that is important to you to understand how we evaluate. We have two parts to assess you. First, we have some in the hour course. We have some small quiz or individual assignment. It accounts for 50%. So, for example, we have very small quiz during our class, and we have one individual assignment, and you have one group assignment. So, for the detail of those one, I might let you know. Yeah, so I think, yeah, we have a book and we have a handout. So that's all about introduction, course introduction. Yes. Before we go to the other part, do you have any question about course introduction?
It's open.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we go ahead. Introduction part. This is my name, Hoàng. Okay. So if you want to contact with me, you might use the email, or you can get my phone in the emergency case. You can send messages or contact directly to me. So after that, I can let my phone and email if you would like to contact in case of some case. My email. From 2007. I am the Hoods alumni from 2001, and after that I worked for Canon You know Canon? Canon is yes, Canon is one of the printer manufacturer. I worked there for several years. And after that, I go abroad for study master, and then I go back to Vietnam, work for another international organization. And after that, 2007, I go back Hus. I come back Hus, and then become lecturer from since 2000 up to now, 2007 up to now. Okay, so I think I am old enough and stay here quite a long time. Yeah, I hope that with this topic I did for not only like a undergraduate student, master student, but also for some like an enterprise. Okay, I often help for the enterprise. So I hope that within 2 weeks we can share and help you understand and like give you some motivation to investigate about the supply chain. Yeah. So that's about me. And now I would like to hear something from you, some information from you. Start from you first, okay? So let's like a introduction about you, because normally with me, I would like to understand about you, and maybe in the case or the example, I might give you heard about this like a bankrupt, APAC bankrupt. So this is like a very good example for us to go back to see what are the reasons why. Because the leader, CEO of that company, he felt some like a very wrong decision and wrong strategies about how to build up the APAC leader, right? We might talk about the supply chain for manufacturer, like in the case of company Thắng, right? Yeah. Tuấn, sorry. Yeah. When we talk about the manufacturing company, we might have many good examples about the supply chain. We might talk about the example, for example, about how about the role, if you are the accountant, if you are the marketer, so how the role in the whole supply chain, right? Yeah. Okay. So now we go back to our first chapter, introduction about the supply chain management. So first of all, what is a supply chain? You know that is a flow of the product and service. Can you wait me 1 minute? I go back to my office to take the pen, right? I can give you some examples of this 1 hour, please. Let's make an example. Flow of product and service, okay? I go back to the example of milk. That is familiar with us, right? We know that from the farm. Yeah. And from some other supplier. Yeah. So we have a farm supplier. They supply. Yeah. They supply maybe through the road transportation mode. Yeah. Maybe by boat. Yeah. Airplane to the factory. Yes. So here we call manufacturer. Yeah. Manufacturer. Vinamilk, TH2 milk. For example, distributor. Yeah. Distributor might be supermarket, retailer. Yeah. We call the distributor. Or we sell to the retailer. Yeah. And customer. Yeah. So the flow of product and service from raw materials manufacturer. Here, farm supplier. They provide raw material. Right? And raw material move to the manufacturer. And manufacturer produce some intermediate product. Here we call the manufacturer, or before that we have some intermediate product manufacturer. For example, Toyota, they produce car. VinFast, they produce car. So for the motor, they don't the Toyota factory in Vietnam, they don't make the motor by themselves. They order motor from some other factory in Thailand. So the factory in Thailand who produce motor, we call the intermediate product manufacturer. And product manufacturer. Here in this case, mill, Vietnam Mill, TH2 Mill is an end product manufacturer. Toyota in Vietnam, Ford in Vietnam is an end product manufacturer. VinFast is end manufacturer. And then the distributor, we call the true wholesaler and distributor and retailer. So in this supply chain, we have a flow of product and flow of the service. All of those parties in the supply chain, we call the party in the supply chain. They link or connected by transportation and storage. So you know that road, boat, or ocean, or air, or rail transport, right? Or even with some chemical company or gas and oil, they transport by like a pipeline. Yeah. So we have another transportation methods we call pipeline. Yeah, pipeline. So we call it connected by transportation and storage activities. Here we have some storage. Here we have a warehouse. Before we ship the item to customer, we also have a warehouse for finished goods. Yeah. All of those parties, they integrate through the information planning and integration activities. For example, manufacturer place an order, send information to the farm. Place an order, send forecast to supplier. Distributor place an order to the manufacturer. So they, through the information sharing, place an order, send forecast, we call the information sharing. Place an order, okay, negotiation, planning. If they have a forecast, if they have an order, then they make the plan. And some integration activities. For example, when we receive the forecast, for example, manufacturer receive forecast, send forecast to the farm, and farm deliver fresh milk to the manufacturer. We call the integration activities. Yeah. Distributor place an order to the manufacturer, and manufacturer ship the item, transport item to the distributor. we call the integrated activity. At that moment, transportation activity. Okay? What is the objective? Aim to reduce the cost and improve service level. Now, our end customer, for example, in the supply chain, milk supply chain, customer purchase item, Vinamilk product with Vinamilk brand name and with the cost, certain cost. So how customer compare? Customer doesn't care. Customer doesn't care who is retailer, right? And customer maybe don't care about who is the supplier of Vinamilk, but customer care about the price. You know, customer about the price. How price come from? We have a cost here in the whole supply chain. We have a raw material cost, as with the some other manufacturing cost. Yeah, some other manufacturing cost. We have a selling price. Selling price from manufacturer to distributor. Then distributor add with some other distribution cost, right? Add with distribution cost. Here they add with distribution cost. Then it build up the final price. Okay? So in the whole supply chain, if customer go to Vinamilk item, the price is very high compared to the other milk, then customer don't want to purchase Vinamilk product, right? So that's why from the perspective management of the Vinamilk, they have to consider how to minimize the cost, reduce the cost from the farm to manufacturer. They try to optimize the cost in manufacturing process, and they have to make how about the network, distribution network, to minimize the transportation cost, to minimize the distribution cost, right? So that is the reason why in the supply chain now today they aim at the reduce cost and how to improve the service level. Customer expect what? Not only price but also quality, also the service. For example, if we have any trouble or we have any complaint about the product, then who will respond for the customer expectation, right? So customer expect about delivery, customer expect about other service. So in general, in the supply chain, we aim at reduce cost and improve service through the management activity of connected of transportation, storage, information, planning, and some other integration activity in the supply chain. So again, about the supply chain definition, that is a network, a chain of the many parties in the supply chain. You know that here many parties, supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, right? We connect all those parties in the supply chain through some activities. Transportation, storage, planning, information sharing, with the objective to reduce the whole supply chain cost and improve the service level. Okay? So this is the first introduction about the supply chain. So now, if I ask you to discuss about the company supply chain, can you draw the same flow? For example, we go back to the case of B-phone. Before we go to the other example of you. For example, B-phone. factory in Hoa La. Okay? They have a factory in Hoa La. And then they assemble product. Then for the first generation, can I read? Now, B-phone. They have a factory. Here is the manufacturer in Hoa La. Yeah. They produce. They have an assembly line here. Make product. Then for the first generation, they don't have any physical distribution network. Customer go to platform website, direct to customer. Yeah. So customer place an order to the website, and then company distribute. Yeah. So what is the drawback, or what is the advantage of this one? Nowadays, even for the case Dell, HP, with the same in the same field, how do they do? They have a manufacturer here. They have many, like a wholesaler, and then they have a retailer, and to the customer. Of course, they still have another. For example, they also use some e-commerce. To distribute their item. So for the example, with this one, what is the advantage of this one? What is the advantage of the first one? And what is the advantage of the second one? Before we talk about the drawback, what is the advantage first?
I think the first one, we could save some costs of transportation.
Yeah, that's great. Go.
Middleman.
Yeah. You're right.
But for the second option, I don't think, I think it's more expensive, but it's more effective.
Yeah. Why do you think that is more effective?
Because you have somebody to specialize transportations and marketing strategy.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Công. So how about the other? So how about you? Diệu Hoa, how do you think? Okay, Thảo.
Almost they will be setting the code of
Yes.
management,
Yes.
by the warehouse,
Yeah.
and the owner of the retail or the supply chain.
Yes.
Because if you in the phone, they have the factory in Hoa La.
Yes.
Actually, they do maybe I don't sure that they do assembly or not. Because almost maybe they order from China.
Yes.
Direct ship to the factory and to the
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, actually, that's also the question that customer asks. They asked before the same question few years ago. So why the customer they didn't have enough belief about B-phone? Yeah, actually they asked, how about the factory where raw material or component come from? How about the value added within this factory? Yeah. So maybe the strategy, they might outsource some producing component. In the previous one, we call the intermediate product manufacturer. Yeah. They order some supplier supplier to make some component. Yeah? And maybe before the full component, of course they have a many supplier here. Yeah? They import the component to the factory in Hoa La, and then they later install the software. Yeah, actually one of the most value added from this one, they mentioned that we have our own software, right? For iPhone, they use iOS. For the case of Samsung, they use another software, right? So with the B phone, they mentioned we have our own software to install or to the B phone. So actually, you are correct. They might reduce the cost because we in this supply chain, it doesn't incur some middle costs. For example, some warehouse costs, retailer and distributor costs, right? However, with this one, they face some unsuccessful because they select the wrong policy, the wrong strategies at the first generation. Actually, this one nowadays many companies they use that strategy. However, in different state. Yeah. For the second one, before I talk about another company, with this company in the second generation, it means that when they launching the second generation, after that 1.5 years, they train their strategy. They have some contracts with one of the retailer at that moment. We call Thế Giới Di Động. Yeah. So Thế Giới Di Động is become a partner to distribute the item for B phone. And in the second launching generation, the B phone product appear in the store of Thế Giới Di Động. Why in the first generation customer, okay, I have a belief on Vietnamese phone, I have a browse about our local brand name, for example. However, for the first generation, the first launching customer felt some disappointed, for example, about the quality, about the delivery time. So customer go back to us, where the factory? How about the manufacturing process? Where component come from, for example? So for the first generation, they were failed. Then in the second launching generation, they moved to the traditional. They combine, right? They have a contract with Thế Giới Di Động to have some a demo, some demo item at the store of Thế Giới Di Động. So at that moment, customer can go to the store to purchase to have some test or experiment with the new product. So this is the case of B4. Actually, for the other some company now today, they combine with the traditional distribution network. They have a wholesaler, retailer, and then they expand to some other methods, for example, e-commerce. Let's talk about Giảng Đồng. I don't know this lab come from which manufacturer, maybe Philips. In Vietnam, we have a Giảng Đồng. And you know that Giảng Đồng, before that, that company, they have a many year experience in the producing lab. And they distribute the item to the traditional network. But in 2001, when COVID-19 pandemic happened, and then they also train their supply chain. They select the second option for selling their item through some e-commerce. At that moment, from 2001 up to now, and that product sell through Lazada, Tiki, and Shopee. So they use the platform of those e-commerce omni-channel distribution, combining between the traditional distribution network and some other e-commerce system called the omni-channel. Yeah. So go back to the case. So what is the supply chain? It's a set of approach utilized to efficiently integrate supplier, manufacturer, warehouse, store, so that merchandise is produced and distributed at the right quantity, to the right location, and at the right system to minimize costs while satisfying service level. Okay? So this definition have once again to explain what we have discussed a few minutes ago. That is a set of activity. Okay? Utilize supplier, integrate supplier, manufacturer, warehouse, store, right? So we have to distribute at the right quantity. For example, if you deliver so high quantity amount inventory at some distributor, it makes higher cost. So who have to bear that cost? The final customer, right? At the right time, for example, you deliver to customer too late, then customer are unhappy with that delivery. Then customer says, no, I would like to stop the order. Then customer choose to move another item from another branding. So the purpose is to minimize costs and improve the service level. So this is a definition about the supply chain. So actually we have other definition, but they have the same concept. We have just discussed about the flow. There's material flow from source to supplier, converter, or manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and then customer. So in this system, we have to manage our system. First, we call the upstream to downstream. From the upstream to downstream, we add some more value-added service. For example, we order like a milk. The source comes from farm. The value of one fresh milk liter at the farm is around, I give an example, is around 20,000 Vietnam đồng. Yeah? The fresh milk at the farm, you can sell to customer only 20,000 Vietnam đồng. However, after the manufacturer, you can sell at the price 50,000 Vietnam đồng. Why? Because we add more value added. We put the fresh milk into the pasteurized process. So with the pasteurized process, we can keep our product with longer time. Then we pack into the convenient packaging for customer, right? It means that we add more value added to customer. Then you can sell that item to the customer with the price 50,000 Vietnam đồng per liter, okay? So this is example about how we add more value added service. Of course, with the supply chain, we have to concern about how money come back, right? When we sell item and then customer purchase item, then the retailer have a revenue. Revenue of retailer, they pay back to distributor about the wholesale price. Distributor pay back to the manufacturer. So we have a fund or money back. Yeah. We have to control in the supply chain, for example, APAC leader, the case of APAC leader, the case of American the family, like a parent, pays around million Vietnam đồng for children. They pay first before for a year, for example. Dewey in Hanoi also, the parent may pay the tuition fee first for the whole year, 2 years or 3 years. When they pay for the whole year tuition fee, they can get the discount, for example. So this is the way how they control their fund, in the supply chain. We have to control information flow back and forth in the supply chain. And in the case of some reuse or wrong quantity, wrong quality, or defect quality, in case of that one, we have to send back to the upstream. So in general, in the supply chain management, we have to manage the material flow or product flow. We have to manage our demand flow and fund flow. We call the budget. We control information flow, and we control the after-sale service, maintenance, and reuse. So all of those flow we have to control within the scope of the supply chain. If any of those flow were disruption, then the supply chain might fall into the difficulty situation. This is another example about the supply chain network. You know that here, manufacturer, for example, the case of Canon, they have 3 factories in Vietnam. The factory in Thăng Long, factory in Quế Võ, the factory in Tiên Sơn Industrial Park in Bắc Ninh. So they have 3 factories in Vietnam, manufacturer, 3 factories. They have many suppliers. They have a supplier from Japan, supplier from Thailand, supplier from Indonesia, and supplier from the other country. Manufacturer. The company in Vietnam is one of the company that's produce, and then they distribute through the network in all over all countries all over the world. So with the case of supply chain network, they build up might be multiple suppliers, multiple manufacturers, and multiple distributors. So this is one example. Now, how they build up the supply chain network of one company? It depends on the market. It depends on market. They might, for example, go back to the case of Samsung. Of course, they have many suppliers in all over the world. Nowadays, Samsung here manufacturer. They have a factory in Korea. They have a factory in China, factory in Vietnam. 3 years ago, they opened the biggest factory in India. So why? Because they would like to expand their network. Because they saw that, okay, India is one of the big market, and they would like to reduce the production cost. So that's why now the factory in India have a lower cost than Vietnam. 20 years ago, or 20 years ago, the labor cost in China, and they built the factory in China. And after that, they moved to Vietnam because the labor cost in Vietnam lower than China. But nowadays, labor cost in Vietnam doesn't cheap anymore. It's not cheap anymore compared to Bangladesh, compared to India. So that is the reason why they moved their factory to the other country. So in the supply chain network, how about the length of the supply chain, the width of supply chain? It depends on the strategies of each company. For example, Vinamilk, now they have a factory in Netherlands. They have a factory in Russia because they would like to focus on some European market customer. Then they build the factory. Why VinFast? They have a supply chain, the factory in Vietnam, but their local company not located in Vietnam. They opened the company VinFast headquarters in Singapore, and they distribute the first destination. They select U.S. market. That is their strategies for the supply chain. Yeah, actually, VinFast is another like a good place for us to still have a many under discussion, because now they are ongoing. We expect that they good have a try to develop. However, now VinFast are facing with a very difficulty periods. You know that if you follow VinFast, you know that the stock market price of VinFast now reduced a lot. Yeah, when they launching the price, stock market price around $40 or $50 per stock, but now only few dollars. So actually, I think this period is a difficult period of the VinFast. They select that supply chain, they select that strategy, factory in Vietnam, and their market in US. And now, of course, they are opening new market in India. Yeah, so this is their supply chain network. So we have some key observation. We have some key observation in the supply chain. First of all, every facility that impact the cost need to be considered. Supplier. For example, when I work for Canon, actually at that moment I am one of the supplier developer. I have to work for this Canon supplier to improve our supplier performance, because if our supplier performance were bad, then it might affect to the cost. Yeah, so that's why we have to consider supplier of supplier. For example, the case, as I said about case of Canon, Vinamilk, even they purchase fresh milk from the farm. However, they should consider how farm performance, because if the farm performance were bad, then it affect to the quality, affect to the cost, incoming raw material for the manufacturer. So they have to take care supplier of supplier, customer. Yeah. For example, Tiên Phong Plastic, you know, they produce one of the PVC strip, etc. So Tiên Phong Plastic company, they build up their network only. You know that. With that one, yeah, they build up the network. PVC, yeah, factory, plastic, and Tiên Phong Plastic company, they produce wholesaler, and wholesaler through retailer, and through they sell to customer. But Tiên Phong, they manage their supply chain. Yeah, they concentrate on managing their direct wholesaler only. They don't care about retailer. However, some of the policy, even they don't have a direct management until the retailer, because ex-wholesaler, they have to responsible for expand their own retailer. However, the company, they concentrate on this one. They still check who are the retailer of ex-wholesaler, because if they can build up a good network, then they have the chance to increase the sale of the whole supply chain, right? So in the supply chain, we have to consider supplier, customer. So from the perspective of whole supply chain, that is the whole, or we call the system level approach rather than individual approach. Okay? We have a multiple level of activity, including strategic, tactical, and operational. So let's see how about the multi-level of activity. Yeah, observation. Yeah. In the supply chain, so we have a set of activities as we mentioned. We have a product design phase, associated capability and knowledge, sourcing decision, and production plan. So let's look at this one. So we discuss this one for a while, and after that we take a short break. Do you know that this is a development of the supply chain? We have to consider about, for example, produce here, produce. Manufacturer responsible for producing products. However, in the development trend, they have to develop product or designs. And after that, they consider find who are the supplier. Then we call the source activities. So with this one, we go back to the case of before, and we make an example how they design and source, and why in the first generation they were failed because of the wrong approach for the strategy. Yeah. You know that for every product have a different work. This one we call what? What is this? When you look into this curve, so what it is?
Life cycle.
Yes. PLC, product life cycle. Yeah. So this is a launching period. This is an introduction. Yeah. Introduction, growing, maturity, and declining period. Right. So go back to the case. How about the concentration management activity of introduction, growing, maturity, and declining? How about the management activity concentration? How do you think? With this period, how about the business concentration? If you first launching product to the market, assume that you have your own business. If you have a first launch the product to the market, you don't know, actually you don't know exactly how about the customer expectation, right? And actually you, at the beginning, you are not sure about customer expectation, whether our quality fits or match with the customer expectation or not. So how about the management concentration at this period? Can you consider, if you consider too much about the cost, then you know that quality, cost, delivery. At this period, what is the concentration? You would like to build up very good appearance of the product with high quality. I'm ready to deliver, right? At this period, I have a good quality. I'm ready to deliver. Of course, high quality, low cost. We don't expect for every case high quality, low cost. It's very difficult to launch the product with high quality, low cost. So at that period, if we concentrate on cost too much, then we might not consider for the quality and delivery. So for the first period, the most important to this period to make sure about our quality. Yeah. For the second period, when growing, you might consider about the expansion network, distribution network to increase the demand, right? For this period, you concentrate on the cost because maturity is mean that when you have a stable cost, when you have enough customer, like you attract most customer, then you have to consider how to optimize the distribution network to minimize the cost. And with this one, you have to think about the capacity. Yeah. So we'll go back to the case of before. For the first generation, they concentrate too much on the cost, then they will fail. So at that moment, for different life cycle, for the first period of the introduction and launching, we have to, in the supply chain, we have to concentrate on the quality. So how quality comes from? Research, go back, how our design and where the shots. Yeah? Two questions customer asks before at that moment. Where raw material come from and where component come from? Shots. They said that that's not a Vietnamese product. Maybe all components were made in China. Yeah, shots. How about design? At that moment, have some problem with a camera before. Yeah. So that's why we go back to our development of the supply chain. For the development trend, we have to concentrate on the design, product design. We make the decision, make or buy, and we may have some early supplier involvement. Early supplier involvement, for example, the case when I work for Canon, I go to the supplier, get the supplier involved to our production, to let customer understand our production. We have some short strategic partnership, supplier selection, and supply contracts. Yeah, actually in the source theories, in the chapter number 3, I'm going to talk to you. We have many different strategy. We construct a strategic partnership, or even only the supplier selection, like a simple supplier selection based on the contract, or we might use the supply contract to negotiate among the party in the supply chain. So here for this one, this is the traditional supply chain. Manufacturer, they produce the product and they have to manage the source, and after that the items are distributed through the distributor and then sell to the customer. So this is the development of the supply chain. Yes, okay. So do you have a question about this one?